people ask me sometimes when we get into this, they say, well, you know, is there always grass when there's leverage? Is there always leverage when there's grass? Yes, but I look at it this way. Matchups, leverage, and grass. I describe the three in reverse order. Matchup is the thing that you get the least and you should look for the least. Leverage is the thing you get a lot more and you should be looking a lot more for. Grass is something that you'll get a lot and you should take it every time you get it. You should always try to put the ball in grass. So on this play that we have up here, the matchup is down at the bottom. Now, when I look at the matchup, it's man coverage, okay? They're in a six-man box, okay? The safety is inside the hash. They are giving me a matchup to the single receiver side. The problem is the kid that has the star over him is going to play at the University of Indiana next year. He's a pretty good DB. The kid that's running the route right there is a really good student, but he is not that great of a football player. So that matchup does me no good whatsoever. So that's off. The leverage, okay, now you look, I've leveraged out there the stack player, okay, and the L2. Okay, there's some leverage there. I got one of them that's outside of number 2. I got one of them that's inside number 3. There's certainly a leverage problem, but look at the grass. There is a big chunk of grass because of the way they've lined up. The safety's all the way over on this hash. The stack is in the box. I know he has to play the run. I know he has to be the 6th hat. The L2 defender is way outside number 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call stick right there. I'm going to call fade by 1, flat by 2, and hitch by 3. And I'm going to put a ball in that green grass, right in the edge of it. Okay, and I'm going to give myself a situation right there where I can win. So here is that play. I don't take the matchup. I'm not digging the leverage, but I'm really, really liking the grass. So if we let this thing play on just a little bit, you'll see that third receiver runs right into that green grass. Look at that. That's a thing of beauty, okay? Now, I don't know if anybody's ever broken it down and really tried to be that succinct with it, but that's what we try to do. We're going to take a matchup if we get it. We're going to certainly try to play the leverage angle, but we're never passing up the grass. And we were so neurotic about this a couple of years ago. I had some art students come in and paint the words "attack the grass" across the meeting room where my coaches meet, because we sit down and we watch film. What we talk about all the time is, where's the grass? Okay, we can win a matchup, we can play leverage, but I want the grass. I want to know where the grass is. I want to put the ball in there, and I want to win repeatedly finding the grass. Okay, and so that's and I know I'm getting really specific about it, but that's a big part of the secret sauce on how we call plays. And this entire conversation we're having is a members-only deal. I don't talk to other people about this. I don't spend time talking about matchup, leverage, and grass with people that I meet at a clinic. I share this with you guys because this is really about how my brain works and how I process this stuff out to get the play calls that I'm getting. Has anybody got any questions on that?
Hey, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Hey, is he pre-snap? Is a quarterback pre-snapping the grass then on this right here, the clip you got shown? Is he pre-snapping the grass? Do you talk to him that way, or is he going through what we talked briefly before?
No, I try not to get him too stuck in that. I'm always talking to him about understanding the leverage and understanding the grass. But what I talk to him about right here is his conflict player. So for him, I'm only talking about who's in conflict. And for him, the true conflict player is that left stack that I'm circling. If that guy works in the box, he knows the ball should come out of the box. If that guy leaves the box, he knows the ball should go in the box. I don't think
he's truly reading it then. He's truly reading it. So your thought process, play calling is, I'm good with the run here if he plays a stick.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because I know now that guy just changed the leverage. He changed the grass when he vacated. So, and that's a great point, Aaron. I'm glad you brought that up. The matchups, leverage, and grass is a great coach speak. It's a great way to talk amongst my coaches or amongst you guys about how to call plays. You don't want to get your kids too wrapped up in that world. You want to get them on a singular read. So in that case, he could have thrown the slant down here. He's not going to because he doesn't trust that kid enough. That's a backup player. Okay, so he's pretty much a backdoor read reading one guy. Does that make sense, Aaron?
Yeah, perfect.
That's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. Somebody also typed in a question. Let's see. Says, Coach, will you move certain personnel to positions where there is more grass? Absolutely, Coach McKim. We are. So what I tell people all the time is I am a connoisseur of green grass. I am attempting to manipulate the situation to give myself more grass in more advantageous positions. The clip that we just brought up right here, Coach McKim, is a perfect example of that. Okay, where did I just acquire a bunch of green grass because of the formation I'm in? Well, if you look up there, the ball is on the left hash, and the Z receiver is standing on the numbers. And that corner is going right with him and standing head up, and there's not a safety within 30 yards to come over and rob that slant route. So what I've done is, and again, now Aaron, this goes back to what your question was, how much do you want to talk to the quarterback about this? I told the quarterback before this drive started, I said, I'm going to keep shoving the formation into the boundary until Tay's my receiver up there at the top, number 22, until Tay gets a lot of grass to work with. And I said, when you feel like Tay has so much grass, you can't ignore it. I said, throw me a touchdown. So we ran, I mean, this is like probably the third or fourth play of this drive where I just kept shoving the formation into the boundary, but I put it in his head before we started the drive about really try to find the grass in this next series. And so, again, I'm not hammering the point on him too much, but I'm also trying to make him very cognizant of it. You know, I could probably go down here and talk about leverage on number one, but I wanted to get the ball to that receiver up top, so I kind of planted that seed in the quarterback's head.
When you're getting that so much grass up top, ideally, you know, you want slant called every time, but if you don't have slant, do you check out of it? Are you going to check out of it at that point in time? Or are you going to, or do you have a signal that you're going to tell that, you know, the single receiver side that he's going to run slant no matter what?
Yeah. Well, because
he's – if it's front side grass, correct?
Yeah, correct. Okay. Now, if I've got that and we don't have a slant on, the quarterback better get me into slant based on that leverage. One thing that we added to help ourselves out right there, and if we play that one back, I think he uses a pretty good – I think he uses a full three-step release method there. We will let him flatten that out. Let's see what he does. Yeah, he just kind of short sells it. So there's three ways he can get himself into that. We can leave grass on and he'll run a three-step slant, which these two might have changed it to this. If he does this, if he makes a Z with his finger, if the quarterback does, he's wanting him to run Arizona. And we talk about it's hot in Arizona, so it's one step and go. Well, if you look up there, this may have been switched to Arizona by these two, because if you look, that Z receiver basically just picks it up, puts it down, and he wins inside right now. So that could be what he did. He probably changed it to Arizona. The other thing is we'll take our thumb and we'll point it back at our chest, and that means I'm running an in cut. We'll push up three, and we'll get to the outside shoulder of that corner, and then we'll rip it square inside and run a three-step dig to get ourselves in there. But, yeah, and anytime we've got that much grass, if we don't have slant on, we're going to try to get the quarterback to change that. And hopefully your guy in the box, if he sees that kind of grass, is telling you if you don't have grass on the front side on this drive, put it on because you're going to have a winner over there. And sometimes that right there most likely was the quarterback changing it to Arizona.
Okay. Thanks.
We also have a thank you, Trent. We also got a text question here. I've read your books that you sent out. Where does my best receiver need to play? H ? I want to give him the ball as much as possible, either handing, throwing, or snapping. That's a great question. That's from Coach Holcomb. So here's my theory on that. I always tell people your alpha male that can win the one-on-one matchup needs to be your X receiver. Okay, the guy that can go win consistently. Well, if you look at the screen we have up right here, this year we finished number one in the state in scoring, so we were pretty good this year. Well, that kid that's standing out there at X at the top of the screen, that's about all he can do. He can run fast and jump really high, okay, but he's not super smart in terms of football. He doesn't run great routes, but he's a long, tall body. He's good at it. The kid with the yellow shoes that's in the slot, the reason he's an H is exactly what you just asked, Mark. I wanted to snap it to him, hand it to him, shovel it to him, flip it to him, throw flats, throw sticks, throw seams, everything known to man. That kid had 100 catches for 1,500 yards and then had another 40 carries for like another 300 or 400 yards. And then he was a punt returner. He had like 2,500 all-purpose yards and was first-team All-State. The guy that you want to touch it the most should be your H. The guy that you want to win the one-on-one long ball challenge should be your X. That's always been my feeling. Now, what I did this year, and I broke my own rule on this, I always said my X would only play X, my H would only play H. My X was such a smart football player that I actually taught him how to play H receiver and got him an extra 2, 3, 4 catches a game by playing H. And I've never done that before, but the kid was so darn smart, and he picked things up so fast, I almost feel like I didn't have a choice. I had to find ways to get him the ball. Hopefully that answers your question, Coach.